We are here at Naughty Dog headquarters with presidents Evan and Christophe. You just unveiled The Last of Us, your new game. Historically, Naughty Dog has been working on one game at a time and one franchise at a time, and now you're sort of breaking away from that. How come?
Well, there's a lot of reasons, but the two big ones were we had built up some technology that we're really proud of that other developers within Sony and even outside of Sony had shown interest in, but that we weren't ever really able to leverage because everything that we develop here is so intertwined with our servers, our network. It's not documented. It's it's not ready for public consumption. But we figured, well, I mean, if somebody's going to take advantage of it, then it should be us. So we need to get another team going in order to do that. But probably more importantly is we had grown as a company to the point where we had so much depth in our team, and we had a lot of people who were ready to be leaders, but that didn't have that opportunity because we only had a single project and there's only room for so many chiefs. So we were just afraid that sometimes and everybody in the company's gotten a call from a headhunter at one point in their time here, and that one of those times it was going to stick, and we might lose people if we didn't give them a chance to grow and spread their wings.
So how long has production on The Last of Us been going on?
We started right after Uncharted 2, where Bruce and Neil just split off just to start working on it, and they've been just kicking at this for at least 6 months. And then we started just to ramp up the project after that, and about just 6 months after that, we were about 15 people on the project. And then by the time we finished Uncharted 3, we were hoping to have 2 full teams, but we couldn't, so we ended up about 40-ish people. And then we just moved some people from Uncharted 3 to The Last of Us so that they can go in full production.
So now that you're doing this, does that mean we won't see any Uncharted in the future, or are you still going ahead, or are you going to go ahead with 2 projects simultaneously further on?
Yeah, well, I can tell you one thing: you're going to see a lot of Uncharted 3 DLC in the near future, and that's actually what most of the team who aren't actually on a well-deserved vacation right now are busy at work on, and so that's going to keep them busy for the next several months. And in the meantime, they'll also start brainstorming and, as a team, coming up with what project they want to tackle next. I mean, Christophe and I don't dictate that kind of thing. It's got to be something that is coming from the enthusiasm and the passion of the people who are going to be making it as a team. So we'll see what they decide. We'll see.
Following up on that idea of that spark having to be there, how did The Last of Us really come about?
It came about just more about the team and or
the concept.
The concept. I mean, I guess it got from us also getting older and growing and having different aspirations, and we're all about character driven stories. So it's that was our main focus, and we kind of just this background of the fungus that we've been teasing on the internet too, and so it was a big source of inspiration for us at the very beginning, and then doing what we do best, just tell a story with characters.
Yeah, and I think as a studio, we're really interested in pushing video games into a more sophisticated realm. Making sure that we aren't just automatically defaulting to catering to the lowest common denominator. I mean, there's a lot of games out there with big explosions and big guns and things that are just sort of in your face, but we wanted to challenge ourselves to do something that was equally impactful, but done much more subtly. And you still feel this even a greater emotion through something that is not just a big flash on the screen.
You mentioned you've been working on this for about 2 years. Do you have any idea at all right now when it'll be out?
We have an idea, but we're not ready to talk about it yet.
So it's not going to be a Christmas game, maybe, or a 2012 game, or 2012 game, or 2013.
We're not talking about when. We're not talking about when it's going to be.
It won't be out before next summer.
Okay. You're going in a different direction genre-wise from Uncharted this time. Is that a challenge for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's a challenge every time you start a new game, period. I mean, Uncharted 3 was a challenge, right? I mean, we're always wanting to make sure that we're keeping things fresh, because if we aren't interested and we aren't enthusiastic about what we're making, then the fans are going to see right through us and not be interested in our games. So definitely tackling a new IP is something that we take very seriously. We do a ton of research into our inspirations and our references, both from a story and a narrative standpoint, but then also from a visual style standpoint, because it was very important for us to make sure that this didn't just feel like, oh, it's Uncharted with different characters. You know, I mean, we wanted it to be very, very distinct. And for the first probably 6 months after we started embarking on this, it still did look very much like Uncharted with a different coat of paint. And so we started pushing the technology in ways that gave it a very distinct look. And I think we got there.
But this will still be like Uncharted, or have that sort of cinematic flair that we come to expect from the Uncharted series and from Naughty Dog in general.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have, of course, I mean, this is what we've been developing for all those years, like this cinematic feel. So this, of course, we will have some of that for sure. And again, we're like working with amazing actors, with Ashley Johnson and Troy Baker. So there's a reason for that, because we want just to tell a good story with good characters. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things we are gonna be like, just, you tell it will be a Naughty Dog game, but it's gonna be very different than Uncharted.
Yeah, and it's not just you know, I was talking about the technology to make sure it had a distinct visual style, but also the gameplay is substantially different than Uncharted, even though it's going to be a third-person game. The moment-to-moment experience will feel night and day from what you've seen in Uncharted.
Day and night, all we do is survive. It never lets up. He tells me how these streets were crowded with people just going about their lives. Must have been nice.